Hi there, it's Tracy Holland, your host on Potential to Powerhouse. Today I'm speaking to Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. You're a globally revered spiritual and humanitarian leader. You spearheaded an unprecedented worldwide movement for a stress-free and violent-free society. You've done this through a myriad of teachings, as well as through the Art of Living Foundation. And I can't wait to talk about the global impact that you've made. 500 million lives touched, 700,000 students educated, 5.6 million people served in trauma relief, 12 million followers on social media, 7,500 extremists transformed, 800,000 inmates reached, and 49 rivers and tributaries have been rejuvenated, because I know you have a passion for the earth and for the environment. So what an incredible list of accomplishments and things that you've done to touch the world. Of that list that I just listed for you, what impacts you about that?
The inspiration that has come to volunteers is through their own practices, When they found that inner child in them, they found the joy within themselves, they couldn't but spread it around and express it all in action. And all this achievement is possible only through that.
It is true, and as someone who's built a company and an organization and had 500 employees myself, I know how hard it can be to share and express your vision as an employer. But as someone who has made this big of an impact, 500 million people you've touched, Gurudev. So can you walk me through how you share your vision? How when you started at 4, I understand that you were in meditation even at age 4.
Mm-hmm.
So how does one start thinking about being who you have become on this planet?
Well, I didn't want to become anything. I just kept sharing what I knew, what I believed, and to everybody around me. And then, if you share something which is useful, then it just catches. Your product sells by itself if it is very useful to people, right?
Yes.
So that's what happened. What I was speaking, what I was giving, the exercises, the sky techniques were so beneficial to people, and I didn't have to make any advertisement for them. I didn't have to make. In fact, I am so poor in marketing. I don't know marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Only one intention: to bring happiness, to wipe the tears and bring the smiles on every face. So with this mission we started. Sometimes it's the internal turmoil, some other time it's the external living condition. So we had to do both, and we were doing that. So Art of Living turned out to be a multifaceted organization. Because approaching in so many diverse ways. It was not one single agenda. It's always there, like I am available for whatever is needed at this time. For example, trauma relief, it's not all the time, but whenever there is such situation, our volunteers are there. They jump in first and try to help. Now what happened in Texas recently, with the gun violence in the school shooting, 21 of our trainers there, we had a trainers training camp, they all jumped immediately. They went to homes, they went to the hospital, they took care of the people, they were counseling them, they did all that they could to get them back on track. Like that. And then in the Asian countries where their education was needed in the remote areas. We started schools for children. And about 80,000 kids are getting free education and food and everything. And in prisons, when we saw that prisoners need rehabilitation, they get into the prison and come out bigger prisoners, because greater criminals, because they have good ideas to, prisons serve as an idea exchange home for them. So they go in usually and they come out with greater idea to steal and commit crime. So there, when we started doing this transformative workshops, you see, tell them about values, human values, and relieve them of the stress, we find such a big difference. They came out and they become entrepreneurs. We started skill development training centers with them, with the inmates, and also give them ways to relieve the stress and not get back into the same, cycle of violence.
Right.
So when they come out, so these programs are, and then for corporate sector also we did programs to relieve stress, to work in teams. They have synergy, visioning. The corporate head will have a vision, but getting a vision for everyone down the line is a task. And there we conducted this course of T-Lens programs and our Art of Living Apex programs, achieving personal excellence. These transformative programs help the productivity of a company a lot. So today, more than 500 companies around the globe, big companies have adopted our program as part of the training. So Art of Living has developed 57 different courses.
Wow.
And where we needed to encourage the youth to take up social projects, we did that way. We could revive so many rivers because there was no water there, water scarcity. Like that, we put our hands everywhere and then it started happening.
It grows. One of the things that strikes me is what you're speaking to is something that I speak to Powerhouse women and women who are coming up behind them is about purpose. And one of the things that struck me about your story, personal story, was that it seems, at least from me looking in, reading about your life, that you came into this life with great purpose from a very, very young age. And then I read that you went into silence for 10 days and had a connection. Can you share a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I was teaching yoga, meditation, I was engaged in social service activity right from my college days. I graduated in physics and also in the Vedic philosophy. Then I was teaching yoga and I traveled and all that. But then I felt there is something that's missing. I'm not able to get to people where what I want to to them. So I took 10 days of silence. At the end of those 10 days, I came up with the sky breathing techniques. That's a gift. And then I started teaching. My first batch was about 8 doctors in the southern state of India, where the doctors came and they wanted to sit and meditate and learn this breathing technique. And then by word of mouth, for nearly 10 years I was doing only by word of mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I took your course, and so Sky Technique is referring back to the Sudarshan Kriya technique, or Sky, S-K-Y.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the most profound, and I read all the statistics in the Yale study and all of the medical benefits that have been studied and proven around this technique. And so I want to speak to that in a little bit, because I think for those listening, when trying to figure out our purpose, right? Because this idea of, I thought my purpose was outside of myself. So I was told to go to the best university and then to get the best job and to go do all of these things that the outside world says are the gateway to success. And once you get there, then you're going to be happy. Once you get there, then you're going to feel fulfilled.
That's where we make a big mistake, Don't postpone being happy for some other future day. Our action should be an expression of joy. Not expecting joy out of some result that you have. That is very small, You will find whenever you achieve something, you still feel that you have so much more you can do. You would never feel satisfied by one achievement or two or three. Because if you base your joy on those achievements, I would always say that life should be an expression of joy and action should be a projection of joy. Then it doesn't stress you out. And it brings such clarity to your mind as well. See?
And so this idea of finding joy, feeling happiness, feeling purpose-driven, and understanding that even when you're not there, there's still joy in that moment. And so understanding that even when you get there, you're far more expanded than you could have ever even imagined, so then you want another there, right?
Yeah. See, the run after success and after joy will prove to be a mirage for you. You say, okay, you find success, and you will always find someone more successful than you. And then you keep running on that. See? And in the whole run, you get so tensed and stressed, and you won't be even able to celebrate that success, enjoy that success. What I would say is, be centered. If you are centered, you are happy now and here. Then, as an expression of your joy, you do whatever activity you want. Then there is clarity in the mind, and you'll be spontaneous, you'll be intuitive, and success is for sure for you. You don't have to be craving for it. You will see, because you are dynamic, you are clear in your mind, and you know what you need to do. Right? Now, finding the purpose here again, there is another way to find your purpose. First, list out what is not the purpose of your life. Go by that. It may find a little hazy to find one's purpose right away, but you can always say, be clear, what is that not purpose of your life? What is that you are doing, and does it really satisfy you? Is this the purpose of your life? This is the question we have to keep asking ourselves. Then you say, oh, my purpose in life is not to be miserable, not to be stressed out, not to upset everybody around me, right? So, not to make everyone miserable or being miserable. Like this by elimination, one day you can really come up with, what is that you really want?
That is incredible. I love that. So by listing the things you don't want,
Correct.
You'll easily move into what you do want.
Absolutely.
And purpose being the feeling that you want to have in the type of things that you're doing. Not necessarily where you're going, but how you want to feel. Is that right?
What exactly you want in your life. Looking into that, you see. And you'll always find with all your effort, whatever you achieve is still smaller than you because it's done by your own effort. And when you get something which is beyond your imagination, beyond your effort, beyond your belief, that brings you a greater satisfaction or gratitude comes in. You are grateful for those gifts that you receive in your life, the grace that comes to your life, which you thought is not you even expected. See? So we should leave some room for surprises in our life. And there's a miracles to happen. See? So you did this much, but what you got is that much, then that puts an end to all sort of rat race that we create for ourselves. Then we go with this feeling of, I'm so grateful for what I have received. And the more we are grateful, we look better, we feel better, and we do better.
Right. I think that's incredibly astute and true. I wonder when you look at this list of accomplishments, Gurudev, the things that you've done, and I realize it takes a village. It's not just you, it's all your volunteers and everyone from around the world who's part of the Art of Living Institute that you founded. But I'm curious, when I look at your list of awards and the impact that you've had globally on peace and on students, on education, on social issues, on the environment, did you expect to have, at 4 years old, did you think you would have this kind of impact?
No, I was never expecting any award from anybody, any country or any nation. None of those was in my mind, even remotely. I only felt connected to people everywhere. Even today, when I travel around the world, wherever I go, I feel I'm part of that culture and people. I never feel that I'm foreigner to that place. I go to Mongolia, I feel absolutely at home. I'm one of them. I go to Latin America, though I have no idea about the language, I don't speak that language, but I feel absolute connectivity with it. So whether it is the Native American who are living in Vancouver, or it's the mainstream people here, I feel absolutely. I mean, it may sound very crazy, but I don't feel a strong separation as an identity. You know, I am from India, I'm this, I'm that, and that. That type of distance I've never felt.
So one of the things that struck me so much is this idea of your decision to go into a silent meditation. And I think all of us, at least in the West, I would say, and going on silent retreats, I know that's something the Art of Living encourages and offers.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what the spiritual nature or what the gateway to silence can provide.
You know, there is a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. I would say that the way around. Silence is the mother of creativity. You know, whenever you want to do a project, you go to a corner, you would be by yourself to write a project. If you want to write a novel, you can't sit and write a novel in a cafe where there are 100 people sitting around you. When you want to write a poem, you need solitude. So creativity happens in solitude. And solitude is not just physical solitude, it has to be mental solitude, inside. If mind is with all these cobwebs of rage and anger and frustration and ambitions and all the sort of things going around in your mind, you become less and less creative. See? So you need to calm yourself down and experience the depth of silence within you. Then you come up with so much creativity and dynamism, clarity, intuitive ability. all those things which are very dear to you for your success or your happiness, it's all right there. We simply have to tap into it.
Yes. And I think one of the things that I appreciate so much about meditation, and one of the benefits that I found, is this idea of going in and quietly being aware of what the impulses may be. So how would you talk to someone who's hearing this and saying, I don't do meditation very well, it's not something, I don't know how, it doesn't work for me, all I hear are my thoughts. What would you say to someone?
Just take a silent retreat. Just try it once.
For 3 days, right? Isn't there a 3-day, a 5-day?
3 or 5 days.
Yes.
Yeah, 5 days I would say would be very good.
And what would the person who's never ever done this before, what would they experience? What would you say to them?
I would say just do it. Once you did it, you know the taste of it. I don't have to tell you anything. And you have not done it, I can't tell you anything. Because if you have never tasted it, I can't describe you the taste of it. So the best is just do it and end it. And you do it and you will see by yourself the benefits of it. And you don't have to even hear anything more. Just doing it is good. And it's no harm. In fact, you will never regret. One thing I tell you, if you do a 5-day silence, you will be very happy and you will not regret giving that time to yourself.
And so after the end of the 5-day retreat, when you're first talking again, when you're first communicating, do you feel like there may not be as much of a need to communicate?
You communicate better. Your communications will be better. Certainly.
I'm going to do this. And the Art of Living, you do this in all of your locations globally?
Yes, many locations.
Okay, so I'm definitely...
We have a retreat center which is considered to be #1 retreat center for Ayurvedic spa and silent retreats. It's in North Carolina,
Yes.
in Boone.
Yes,
Yes, on the Heavenly Mountains.
I saw that. I'm definitely going to do that. So one of the quotes that I love that you have here that I've read of yours says, God cannot be seen if the mind is stressed. The sun cannot be seen if the glass is not transparent, if the windows are not open. So talk to us about that. What does that mean?
Our perception, our observation, our expression, all depends on our state of mind. And we are stressed, the way we see things are colored, biased, prejudiced. And then, you don't really get the essence of it. Right? So, we are love, we are made up of a stuff called love. Like our body is made up of amino acid, proteins, carbohydrates. Our spirit, our consciousness is all love, it's all joy. But when there is so much stress, we don't experience peace. All these sounds like an utopian thing, it's just not practical in life. So, a few minutes of meditation and these breathing techniques would immensely help. It's even said as a mental hygiene, like dental hygiene. This is mental hygiene. To keep our mind fresh,
Yes.
do little breathing and meditate and find the inner strength, inner peace, and then go out and be dynamic.
So stress is our attachment to an outcome. Is that right?
The formula of stress is too much to do, too little time and no energy.
Terrible combination.
That's what the stress gets more.
Yes.
If you have nothing to do, you have no stress. If you have too much to do and you don't have time, or if you have all the time, then also you don't get stressed.
Right.
And no energy definitely triggers the stress in you.
So one of the things that I find so uniquely interesting, especially when I have so much to do, is that if I stop when I'm feeling that sense of angst and stress, and I sit for 15 to 20 minutes in silence, even though I feel like I don't have the time, I come from such a place of being at peace and replenished and able to continue. So why is that? What is the place in which someone listening says, I don't have time, I can't do that, it doesn't work for me, that they trust, there's a bridge of trust, right? That says, trust me, this works.
See, it is simple. If you are spending your energy so much, you have to recuperate also. You are using your cell phone constantly. At some point, the juice goes away from it. There is no charge in it. You have to plug it back to recharge it. So same thing. Sleep is one way to get rid of our stress, but it doesn't relieve us of all the stresses, deep-rooted stresses, and that can only go through quiet meditation. And some stress, which are very adamant and obstinate stress, can go away through this breathing technique.
Yes. And what about the kind of stress, Gurudev, when my spouse isn't listening or doing what I said I wanted him to do, or my children are not acting in a way that I feel they should be? How do we handle, or how do we step back from the stress that we cause ourselves by way of not getting the person in our lives that we feel needs to behave in a certain way to behave that way?
My observation, it's not an authentic answer that I would feel because it's not in my personal experience. But I can tell you with my observation. If you are stressed again, if you know, you will not be communicating, or you have the patience to listen to your kids better. So kids many times they tell their moms, Mom, you go to the sky technique, your breathing techniques, and then come talk to them. So you need patience. Again, mother has so much to do, and when she's stressed, her expression is very different. And so often mothers end up regretting what they do in a moment of stress. Mm-hmm. I think the same thing with any personal interaction with anybody. So we need to clear our mind again and again from stress, or pump ourselves with more patience, and that comes with more energy.
So true. So true. So one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about is just our path and our purpose, going back to that. So one of the things that I do, Gurudev, when I'm trying to read the breadcrumbs or the signs, is I try to maintain an open mind to ensure that I don't have such an agenda that I'm missing what could be the best thing that's happening and that fills the grid in, right? That things that are taking place that give me the sign that I'm on the right path, right? So the fact that you and I were color coordinated perfectly today told me we're in exactly the right place at the right moment. Because of my closet, I could have picked 1,000 different shades of something, and it's like, it's perfectly aligned, right? So those are some of the things that when I'm in the right centeredness, I can look for. What would you recommend, or how would you think about what we see in terms of our agenda for where we believe our purpose and our life mission is versus kind of our purpose and the reason we came in? what we chose?
First, we must know that the agendas we set are through our knowledge. Whatever you know about yourself, about whatever things around you, you set an agenda. But your knowledge is very limited. See, you may set up some goals today, but down the line, another 5 years later, 10 years later, you will see that there is something else. See, nobody thought about metaverse till very recently, in a couple of years. 15 years ago, someone talked about metaverse and everybody ridiculed them. It's true. In my presence, I know. People thought this guy is very crazy. I would say this was exactly 13 years back. So, you are setting agenda as you evolve, as you grow. The world is changing, you are changing, your thoughts are changing, your goals are changing. So we must be flexible from inside, number one. Second is, the formula to get depressed, you want to know? Is sitting and worrying, what about me, what about me, what about, thinking only about yourself. You should think about the world, about everybody around us. So, when mind is open to a bigger vision, then we stop cribbing for ourselves, being too selfish and all the time get embroiled in our own success and then get into heartbreaks and get into tension. So, when you open your mind, I want to do something good to everybody or bring joy to everyone. This joy in giving is greater joy than the joy that we try to grab from here, there, everywhere. You see, that makes you very poor. And you are just trying to take joy, take credit, take everything for yourself. When we come from the space of giving, sharing, contributing, caring, life takes completely a different dimension, rise to a different level.
Beautiful. It's so true. I think one of the things that I find is prevalent is something you mentioned earlier, is this idea of comparison, right? Where I compare myself to others, or you walk into a room and say, gosh, I thought I was going to be here, but now I realize like I feel behind, or
I wish I could be that way.
Yeah, right? And so I think one of the things that I would love to hear from you is, in anyone who's listening, and it's so funny because like this idea of being there, once I get there, then I'm going to feel successful or be happy. What is the recommendation you would give to anyone who's feeling like they're not where they should be, right? And having this feeling of comparison.
One day the curtain is going to come down on the show. You must remember we are all participating in a show. Right? The curtain is going to come down. Whether you are successful or unsuccessful, everything is going to end. Right? If you are not peaceful being vertical, you will have to be peaceful horizontally. So, seeing life from a bigger context can bring so much strength, so much peace, so much energy, joy. And that is where I would say, make meditation a part. I'm not telling you should shun your ambitions. You keep your ambition. But being so feverish with the ambition, your goal, you lose it. You can never get there. So to get rid of the feverishness, we need to get back to ourselves. Be calm, serene, and find the inner joy So don't postpone being happy for future day. Right now, find it in yourself. And then you can do a million things. It doesn't matter. Okay?
Yes.
One last question.
Okay. So one last question would be, because you are the guru of happiness, they say Gurudev is known for joy and happiness, and bringing happiness to the world is one of the things that I feel like is your legacy, one of your legacies. You have so many. In terms of what you believe the next 3 years, because next year we have the event here in LA that you're hosting, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And is the underpinning of that around happiness? Can you tell us a little bit?
World Culture Festival.
Yes.
You know, today I see in America there is so much polarization. There's so much heartburn, there's so much hurt. People are feeling hurt or angry. And on top of this, all these incidences that is happening, the inflation. There is a sense of despondency, hopelessness. And the way to get out of that and to have robust mental health, we need to have celebrations, multicultural celebrations. They are planning to host a World Culture Festival. I would call it a cultural Olympics. So people from all over the world are all different traditions and faith leaders, everyone come on one stage and perform music, dance, and meditation.
Beautiful.
Together.
And so in 2023, we have that to look forward to here in Los Angeles.
Yes. Los Angeles, and also we will have a small event in every state, and we'll have one in Washington DC and one in Los Angeles. Two big
Beautiful.
events. Yeah.
Okay, so for those who want to participate and get involved, they can go to artofliving.org and sign up or reach out and participate in that. Because it does bring all of us together to celebrate you and everything you're doing and everyone together. So I so appreciate you sharing your heart and your joy and your happiness and your wisdom with all of our listeners.
So, nice being with you, Tracy.